A very good morning to dear students. Today I, Saurabh Gupta, Assistant Professor, BBD University, is going to present my lecture for MBA students. And the lecture is on characteristics of rural marketing. The paper code is MBA MK401. To begin with the lecture, we are going to focus on the criteria of what the rural consumer or see, rural marketing is not at all different from the traditional kind of a marketing methodology. But the point is that the understandability of rural consumer is very, very important. At the same time, the characteristics as to how the rural consumer is going to behave is also being important in general. Talking about rural consumer is an end user of the product offered in the markets. More precisely, a rural consumer is one who buy the goods and services for self-consumption, reselling, and reproduction in the rural areas only. See, rural consumer is a consumer that is going to buy for the self-consumption purposes in the rural areas, reselling in the rural areas, reproduction in the rural areas, not in the urban areas. You have to be very, very specific about that thing. Rural consumer has less disposable income. These people have disposable income capacity is very, very less. They are not like us that disposable capacity is more as compared to the any other people. Therefore, they prefer to buy a less expensive product. They are not see rural people buy products, but they don't buy very expensive products. Like people will, you people will be differentiating from this view of mine that no, sir, the rural consumer are very, very conceptualized about their behavior, and further they are not like the previous one. They are going to buy expensive products. But the point is that India is a hinterland land, and there are many parts of India that which is still under deprived, and they are not being able to discuss in general specific way. So still, people in the lifestyle, the rural consumer is far more different from any other consumer aspects. Talking about the characteristics, the market noticed a significant change in rural consumer due to the growth in disposable income, educational facilities, media reach, urban interaction, reach of the market. Rural market has emerged as a potential over the years. With the market, there is a growth in consumer base possessing varied characteristics. Therefore, rural market analyzes the consumption pattern and lifestyle of the consumer. For a rural marketer, the understandability of rural consumer is very, very important because, see, if you are going to open something in a rural market, you need to understand that the disposable income of these people are not like us. Disposable income of these people are far more different than other people. Educational facilities are still deprived. Though government is trying their level best to educate rural consumers, and there are many facilities which have been given to these people, but still the educational aspect is still low. Media reach is still the primitive type of mediation concept, like promoting with the aspect of those arts and fairs and those melas and all. Further on these urban interaction is, you can say, it's less. Uh, they are going to interact with urban areas, but they take time and interaction with this. Reach of marketers is still under the deprivation aspects. To remain competitive, market try to develop the rural region specific marketing strategies. Hence, the marketer must explore the understand consumer and buying habit. This will be very, very helpful in meeting the organizational marketing objectives and earning profits. Now, see, this is not a rural consumer actually looks like, but it is somewhat similar. You can say it's a kind of an hypothetical figure which has been drawn by your teacher. The user needs and wants in rural market are different. Thus, the rural consumer possesses distinct characteristics than the urban areas. The people in rural areas need is different and their want is different. See, need still is to have clear water. Need still is to have those kind of those very well constructed houses. Those kacha houses are still prevalent in rural areas, in many part of rural areas in India itself. Further, the wants of those people are, you can say, if you compare with the urban people, the need of urban people are the want of rural people. You can figure it out that particular. The people who influence the consumer are the local vendors, teachers, bank managers, and the local lenders, health workers, and media habits. These people actually are influencing the consumers of rural areas. But how much they have influence is still under the questionable mark. Further, talking about those specific characteristics, let's talk in general way. The consumer is less literate due to the fewer educational facilities. Marketer needs such strategies which will generate product awareness considering these characteristics. They can incorporate audio-visual medium. Still, those primitive methodology of communicating, like I told, that educational facility, like if you talk about advertisement, if you want to advertise the people in rural areas, you need to work upon those radio aspects. You can figure it out and on those internet aspects. Internet aspects in rural areas is a bit questionable doubt. The education of many of the rural areas are still not under the question mark. Further, the low level income people are there. The disposable income is still being based on the necessity aspects. Marketer must launch their products in small packages and at a lower rates in general. Further, the occupation of the people is largely dependent upon the income and occupation. It is observed that the occupation of the rural consumers is farming in general. The existence of profession as well as the service provider, technical workers, etc. The company must launch such products in marketer to satisfy the income level. Occupation level of rural consumer is still farming, like I told. So the kind of quality of life which they lead is a farmer in general. The impact of reference group. Now, talking about reference group, who these people are going to refer? Like I already told, those bank workers, or you can say the health workers are going to be the reference people. You can say that thing. Consequently, there is a significant change in the buying behavior of rural areas. Rural marketers must plan their strategies to get greater kind of influential aspects. Further, talking about further, people residing in rural areas are less literate, as discussed above. Thus, the print media does not have an impact on rural areas. Company must use their communication strategies to maintain the consumer quickly. Brand loyalty, consumer of rural are brand loyal. Yes, they are brand loyal, but they need to be aware about that. Some brand have successfully created a kind of a strong impact into the mind of consumers. See, brand loyalty, like you all know, that brand loyalty is going to be created on many dimensions. And brand loyalty is when the consumer actually knows about the product, consumer is aware about the product, at the same time, he or she actually can relate with the product. Similarly, too much buying of the same kind of products is being there. Like if you're going to buy a Vico Vajanti paste, so you are brand loyal when you are going to say that I'm going to buy it again and again at a repetitive period of time. But when you do not know about Vico Vajanti, same is the case with rural consumers. Rural consumers do not actually know about many of the brands. Like if you talk to them about Microsoft, they know about the company Microsoft, but they do not know about the technologies. You are going to say, okay, iPhone. They know about iPhone, but very few of them. Similarly, value of money is going to be an aspect of it. Consumer look for the quality of products at a justified prices. Rural consumers should try to create a sense and trust in the mind of the consumers after offer products, deliver them to the best of their abilities and to the best of their values. Further, the types of consumers. There are various types of consumers. Household consumers in household who purchase products for self-consumption. Goods are purchased for consume, not for the further production in general. Family needs, personal use. Rural industrials. This type of consumers buy products for the reproduction purposes. The industry produce raw materials and market. So there are basically, you can say, there are household, there are family needs, there are personal users, and rural industrial. These are the four basic types of rural consumer in general. So, talking about, there are some specific myth about rural consumer that they buy a very low price product. No, they do not buy a very low price product. I have already told that they are not at all aware about it. See, the point is not on low and high end. The point is then when you are not aware about many of the things that I told, they know about WhatsApp. Okay, I agree to it that they know about WhatsApp. But the point is that when you do not know the latest version of an AI, or you do not know that the latest version of AI is going to help you in farming and is going to help you in many of the ways in construction of your areas, it is going to be the people will be tend to buy that thing only. So they do not buy low price products. It's for sure homogeneous consumer base. The consumer base is not at all homogeneous. It is diversified. By that I mean that the consumer is different from one another by whatever the company is going to offer. No, they are very particular about that thing. Secondly, rural consumer behavior. Rural consumer behavior is going to include the individual groups and organization. Talking about the classification of consumer behavior and the habitant group, such consumers consist to buy products because they want to completely satisfy them. They want to make it a habit. Cognitive type of group, they are going to make some perception of it and then going to buy the things. Emotional groups, they are going to be very focused about the product specific on the emotional criteria in general. Impulsive, they are going to be an impulsive buyer. There are yes, there are impulsive buyer in the rural areas. So that's all for today in this lecture. We have studied that rural consumer is still need to be worked upon in many of the areas. Thank you.